why'd you do this movie? Why were you? Are you a wrestling fan?
I've never, prior to this, seen any wrestling. Never watched wrestling. Well, that's not true. I watched a little bit of British wrestling with my grandfather in the 70s. If you've never seen British wrestling
walk me through it.
from the 70s, if your image of wrestling is people like Dwayne Johnson and Stone Cold Steve Austin, ripped guys doing backflips, British wrestling in the 70s was really overweight men just sort of thwapping their bellies against one another. They had names like Big Daddy. There was a guy called Giant Haystacks, because if there's one thing that strikes fear, it's hay. And that was and this was so popular on British TV in the 70s, and there was nothing athletic about it. And I mean, it was really. I mean, we have very low expectations for entertainment in the 70s,
right?
And so that was my knowledge of wrestling.
There's Big Daddy. We're showing on the screen. Nice hat, nice cape,
and you can
nice,
see,
man.
There's Giant Haystacks.
We had Lena Headey in this week, and
the exact same two people that
she named the same two people that she used to watch.
That's the only ones I remember, and they were on a show called World of Sport, which seemed a bit rich. I mean, they've got the physiques of darts players, and so that was all I ever saw. And even as a kid, I was like, "What is this?" I didn't understand whether it was sport or entertainment. I had no idea. And so when this project came along, I mean, I guess I had a vague idea of people like Hulk Hogan in the 80s, but I never watched WWE. And so this documentary got sent to me by Dwayne Johnson about this family of British wrestlers. And I sort of sat down, if I'm honest, slightly reluctantly thinking, I'll watch it because The Rock has sent it to me. And you do what The Rock tells you. Yeah. And I just fell in love with this family. And so charmed by them, and they all wrestle. Mum, dad, 3 kids. The dream is to get the kids into WWE, which is obviously the big leagues. They're just playing to sort of 2-bit, venues in and around small towns in England. And the brother didn't get signed. Paige, the daughter, did, and she went off to America at a young age to kind of train with WWE, and sort of carrying the weight of the family dream and her own dreams with her. And it's just this great kind of Rocky style, true life underdog story.
So, how did you get hooked up with Dwayne Johnson? I mean,
thank you for asking.
Is there a history in that regard?
I have known Dwayne for about 10 years. I knew Dwayne when he was still in shape. And
so you go way back.
We go way back. I did a movie with him called Tooth Fairy. You're welcome. And we stayed in touch over the years, and we sort of had a good rapport, I think, doing that movie.
Yes.
And he, like I say, he saw this documentary about this family and became involved with their lives. And I think along the way realized it would make a good feature. And I'm fairly sure Dwayne only knows 2 British people, me and Jason Statham. And he goes to Statham for, when he needs a smaller guy that he can pretend to beat up on camera.
Yeah.
And he comes to me if he needs someone to write something. And so we started working on the project.
So you're that go-to guy.
I'm the go-to guy.
For him.
Well, Statham can do, 60 sit-ups in 30 seconds, but I can do 40 words a minute on the word processor.
He's more the Guy Ritchie guy in the relationship,
That's it.
right? Like
Exactly.
He's in those movies, like Lock, Stock, and all that sort of business. So, but for you, the light-hearted comedy.
That's the guy you come to.
The uplifting story of Brits turning young lady into superstars. International.
I'm your man.
You're the guy. You're that go-to. I got a script for you.
Yeah.
No, I don't actually have a script. Are you now a wrestling fan?
I went to WrestleMania with Dwayne, and that was, I call him Dwayne, and that was eye-opening because that was 100,000 people. It was in Dallas, and the crowd are electric, and then when you see these guys and these women just actually at work in the ring, and you see this combination of the athleticism and the stunt work and the showmanship and the performance and the choreography, it's really, really entertaining. It's enormously thrilling to watch, and I really had to immerse myself in the wrestling world to understand this movie. And I went to matches, and I went to the training facility, and my respect for them has really gone through the roof. I'm a big admirer of them.
What is it like going to WrestleMania with Dwayne Johnson? That Elvis is in the building.
It's unbelievable. It's extraordinary. The guy walked out on stage with a flamethrower and set fire to a 8-foot sign of his name, and he milked that for 10 minutes. Before he said a word.
Milk a flamethrower for 10 minutes?
Unbelievable. Well, you walk to the left, flame, walk to the right, flame, and it was so, and they did not stop screaming and cheering for that guy the whole time, because he, like you say, it's like Elvis has come back when they see him. I've never known anyone with that sense of charisma and that ability to just work a crowd, but it actually worked in our detriment because we had this big scene in the movie, and we shot it. We had 1 hour after a WWE telecast on a Monday Night Raw at the Staples Center, and they said we'll keep the fans back. And we only had an hour, and I said to Dwayne, you know, he was going to come down, he was going to kind of MC the event, but I said, please don't get carried away. We've only got an hour. Guy goes out there in front of the fans, did 20 minutes on the mic.
No way.
He's making phone calls, he's doing selfies, he's doing the catchphrases. Can you smell? I'm like, you know, sat up in the stands thinking, yeah, we can smell what you're cooking, mate. Get out the ring. But he was amazing because he just played that crowd like an orchestra and was just so perfect for us to be able to get the shots we needed. He's extraordinary.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.